You want me to do what in the end of this video?
That's me about to do something ridiculous for this end of the video to demonstrate the point on how, if you implement the key points I'm talking about here, you can actually set yourself up for success and actually get ahead of 90% of people within the next 6 to 12 months. I want you to think of the last time your heart raced at something. Talking to that girl, showing your work to someone, closing a sale. What did you think to yourself? If you're like me, a human, then this has probably crossed your mind. And to start, I want you to become radically aware of the things you did not want to do last year, but you had to do. That's step one, do a past year review. The ancient Romans used to say memento mori, which basically translates to any year could be your last year. And I really want you to think about this for a second. So do you really want to spend a year doing things you don't want to do, or doing things that don't bring you closer to your ultimate goal? And that is the point of a past year review. And I want to give shout out to Tim Ferriss here, who came up with that concept. It's a very simple exercise. You basically just open a Google Doc or an Excel sheet with 2 columns. And in the left column, you're going to write positive, and the right column, you're going to write negative. And now you just go through your calendar or whatever tool you use to track your appointments, and each and every item on your calendar over the past 50 weeks, you're going to either categorize as positive, aka things you enjoyed doing, and negative, aka things you did not enjoy doing. And that ruthless categorization is actually going to open your eyes to the plentiful things that you were quote unquote forced to do that you actually didn't want to do. And the way you wrap up this exercise is you take the bottom 30% of the worst things you did last year, and you want to aim at cutting them out completely, whereas you want to do more of the top 30 positive percent that you really enjoyed this year. Step 2, which is define your ideal self that you want to hit by the end of this year. Now notice, I'm not talking about your goals, like I want to make this much money this year, this many clients, this many followers. No, it's not about that. It's about a different person you're becoming, the character traits that you want to have, the habits that you want to have, the kind of relationships that you want to nurture. This is about being, and that is step 2. Step number 3, you go from being to doing, which means you got to establish the roughly 4 to 12 milestones. Now, the cool thing about that is, and I want to quote Alex Hormozi here because it's one of my all-time favorite quotes. He says, the moment you do the things your ideal future self would do, you already are that person. It just takes time for the proof to show up. Shout out to Alex Hormozi. It makes it okay for you to fail. It puts focus on trying and learning in the process of doing so, as opposed to having to achieve it. It puts the focus on becoming and really evolving and changing as a person, as opposed to just getting some sort of external validation factor in. Because we think, oh, things need to be perfect for us to get the highest likelihood of success. But in reality, it's not about you reaching your goals. It's about the person that you become in the process. And that is why you need to go from being to doing. Just like my ideal future self totally may or may not jump into that freezing cold winter lake right behind me. But let's talk about step number 4, which is where we're going from the macro milestones doing to the micro habit doing. AKA, what kind of habits does your ideal future self need to do every single day in order to hit those milestones, in order for you to then hit that ideal future self by the end of December. For example, one of the personal things I wanted to embody by the end of 2024 is I wanted to have a better, deeper relationship with my girlfriend of 7 years. And in order to do that, I need to hit the milestones of moving together with her and actually spending more quality time with her every single Sunday and Saturday, for example, every single month leading up to that ideal future self by the end of 2024. Now, that habit that I need to create here is something as menial as, for example, putting on my Trello card schedule that at 9 p.m. every single day, I'm gonna turn my phone off and lay down my work, because that way I can actually spend quality time with my girlfriend. Let's say, for example, your ideal future self is someone that is ultra consistent at the gym and embodies a better physique of below 10% body fat. In order to hit that by the end of the year, you say, okay, well, my milestone at the end of Q1 is going to be 10 pounds less, milestone end of Q2 is 20 pounds less, and so on and so forth. So you broke it down into milestones, and when you do that, you break it down into habits, which means, for example, I'm going to track my calories every day, and I'm going to hit below 2,200 calories every day. Aristotle used to say we are what we repeatedly do, and that is why you go from being to doing macro milestones to doing micro habits. Now, this is exactly the point where your goals start failing you, because habits are hard to build. Change is hard to facilitate. That's exactly where step number 5 comes in. Build an environment setup, meaning everything in my life is set up in a way that this change and these habits are built almost automatically. Meaning, for example, my environment setup only allows 4 types of people in my life. That is number 1, people that support me. Number 2, people that pay me. Number 3, people that I pay, aka my mentors, people that I learn from. And number 4, people that I love. Anyone else, I simply won't allow in my environment, because if I do, building these habits that lead me to my ideal self at the end of the year is going to be very difficult. Same goes, for example, the food that I allow into my life. That's literally why I eat steak for breakfast every single day. That is why I only eat fruits and vegetables, and I cut out all the bullshit, except for cheat days. Cheat days I allow myself to have, because that also feeds into the environment of chilling. When I'm chilling, when I'm relaxing, when I'm recovering, I do it with all the intent in the world. A lot of people do these kind of cheap dopamine recovery, which is, they're sitting on their phone scrolling for 2 hours at a time. That's not really relaxing. What you need to do is you need to do everything with intent. Just like you're hyper-focused when you're working on something, building that habit, you need to be highly intentful when you're spending time off with your family, your kids, your loved ones. I, for example, love playing video games because it's a very engaging activity. And when I do play video games, I'm fully there. Another great example of active recovery is meditation, cold plunges, high focus sports, kart racing, snowboarding, and so on and so forth. Try to get away from this cheap, low quality dopamine as much as you can. Another important environment setup that you need to create for yourself is the one for your mind. You cannot allow toxicity, fear mongering, any sort of bad toxic information into your brain. You got to put your brain and your mind into an environment that is full of love, that is full of gratitude, that is full of appreciation, that is full of optimism. So if you really think about this environment setup, it's much more about the things you're saying no to than the things that you're saying yes to. You need to basically cut out anything that does not bring you closer to your ideal self by the end of 2024. Step number 6, do something that you're afraid of every single day. It's one of the most powerful habits you could ever build. Back in my first business as a dating and personal development coach, we used to say, use fear as personal guide into freedom. And that is a really interesting concept, because our relationship to fear is completely skewed. We actually think that fear and discomfort is something we need to stay away from as much as possible, when in reality, fear and discomfort show us the path to the very things that we actually want. I mean, just think about it. The most attractive person is usually the person that makes you afraid, that intimidates you, that makes your heart go fast. Your most intimidating goal is usually the very goal that would be the most epic, crazy goal for you to reach. And that is why you need to reprogram your relationship to fear and discomfort, because the ideal version of yourself that you want to hit by the end of this year is a version that is much more fearless, that is someone that is not only comfortable with discomfort, but that actively seeks discomfort, because that's where the growth is. So in this regard, I also feel massively uncomfortable standing here in the cold. I'm freezing, and the one thing that I'm most afraid of is this water here, because that's even colder. So I guess I have to step into the unknown here as well.
Do you want me to do what in the end of this video?
Oh man, I hate you so much right now. I hate myself for doing this. All right, so apparently this lake has around 5.5 degrees Celsius right now. You can see here my breath is going faster. As you can see, I'm making myself more comfortable with the discomfort. Now this sets you up to do the hard things. Now if you want more direction, on the exact steps that you need to do in order to monetize your passion, skill, expertise, or hobby. I made an entire video on just exactly that. You can click and watch it here. Ah!